Thank you for tuning in to another edition of Parents Corner. Our guest today is Amanda Salvron. She is the coordinator of elementary mathematics, and she's here to talk to us about iReady. Thank you so much for coming today, Amanda. So before we get started, I just sort of wanted to, I like to get a little feel for who our guests are. So Amanda, could you tell me something about you, maybe how long you've been with AACPS or how you got into the math game, whatever you want.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me today, Shelley. Again, I am Amanda Salvron, and I've actually been with AACPS for over 20 years now. From being a teacher into a math resource teacher and working with Title I. And then I moved into administration and realized that I really wanted to support the math business across the district. So I joined central office about 3 years ago as the coordinator of mathematics and have really enjoyed some of these extra little jobs that I get along the way, such as learning about and helping with the rollout of iReady across the district.
Wow. Well, from my experience, we're very lucky to have you. And
thank you.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So you're here today to talk a little bit about iReady. And I actually have to admit, before we started talking about it, knew nothing about it. I don't have elementary or secondary kids. So for those who don't know anything about it, what is iReady and why did we start using that for ACPS?
Alrighty. So iReady is an online program, an online component created by a vendor called Curriculum Associates that actually aligns to resources that we currently and have used in elementary mathematics for about the last 7 to 10 years. Specifically, iReady, this new online portion of the program, is for reading and mathematics. And it helps your students' teachers really determine student needs, personalize their learning in a way we haven't been able to do before, and monitor our students' progress throughout the year. There was quite a lot that went into choosing iReady. There was an adoption committee put together here at central office that had representatives from all across the district. The committee did include specifically math and English language arts coordinator teams from pre-K all the way up through 8th grade. So this program is servicing students in grades kindergarten through 8th grade. It does include 2 parts, a diagnostic and personalized instruction, and that was chosen to help identify students' starting points as well as some learning gaps with the loss of our face-to-face instruction in spring 2020.
Okay, I'm going to stop you.
MSDE.
So what you're saying is, was this something that the system got because of the COVID?
So MSDE did charge all of the districts in our state to provide them with a data point in the fall that would allow them to identify current student learning, try to determine, some trends maybe across the state of the possible effects from the loss of that face-to-face in-school instruction last spring. So MSDE was asking us for that, and as AACPS, we chose, after looking at a variety of programs, to go with iReady.
Awesome. Okay. So then, and I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to make sure I understood it properly. So there's 2 parts to it. And can you go over exactly what those 2 parts are and what does that look like?
Absolutely. So 2 parts. One is a diagnostic, and the other part we're utilizing is personalized instruction. They are both online components. So students are participating in this 100% online. So of course, we're in full virtual learning now, and it is an online program. If we go back to hybrid or when we go back fully face-to-face, this will continue to be an online supplement to our instruction.
So they would just use it online at school in that case. They would be able to use it. Okay, that's awesome.
Yep, so this was built that way and has actually been around for quite a few years. So though we are new to the use of iReady in AACPS, there are a few districts in the state of Maryland who have participated and utilized iReady successfully in the past, different counties who have done that. So we did some learning from them also, and in our digging, again, it was important for us to learn more about both of these parts. So the diagnostic is actually an adaptive assessment that adjusts the questions based on student needs. So when a student sits down to take this diagnostic, each student will actually see an individualized diagnostic assessment based on the answers that they're giving. So for example, a series of correct answers will result in some slightly more difficult questions, with a series of incorrect answers yielding some slightly easier questions.
Okay.
It's not noticeable to students, but that's the purpose of the program, to really adapt. This actually aligns to our new MCAP assessment, our state assessment that will be starting and was supposed to launch in spring of 2020. That is also going to be an adaptive assessment that adapts to each individual child as they get questions right or they get questions wrong. The computer actually adapts to the individualized student.
So Amanda, what is that? I'm just trying to think back. So what does that do for the teacher or the educator that's looking at the results?
So most importantly, it really provides our teachers with a much more narrow focus of where our students actually are performing right now, so that instructionally, our teachers and our leaders, specifically in schools, are able to support students exactly where they are and plan for how to move them forward in their instruction.
Okay, so like 1 year, fourth grade doesn't look exactly like it looked the year before because the kids are all sort of in different levels, so you can get a better feel for that. Is that what you're saying?
And the best part about this is part 2 of iReady is actually called personalized instruction.
Okay.
We'll probably talk a little bit later about the My Path. And that personalized instruction provides students with lessons that are right there. They're just right for individual skill levels and needs so that individuals can learn at a pace that's just right for them. I like to say just in time and just right instruction. These lessons truly meet students where they are. They're fun, they're interactive, they keep students engaged, while pushing them along to have them make progress. A year's worth of progress is what we expect for all of our students, but it individualizes that your personalized path would be different from mine, which would be different from every other student who took that diagnostic.
Awesome. So it's just for them. It's sort of that Goldilocks kind of thing. It's the right fit.
It is.
Love it. So the personalized they can use anytime, but the diagnostic part, is there a particular time? Because I'm thinking kids aren't just going to jump right into that for any good, the personalized is probably the fun for them. So what is that diagnostic? Is that going to be at a certain time? Have they done this already?
There are. So again, as I said, it's a different type of test. It's adaptive, so it moves along with each student. It's different than assessments that we give in the classroom, or such as MCAP or our district assessments, which are usually mastery assessments. These truly are individualized assessments that respond to each student. This year in 2020, as a district, we have created a calendar to have the diagnostic take place 3 times this year. Okay. In grades kindergarten through grade 8. That first diagnostic took place About mid-September. We started school on September 8th, so maybe about 2 weeks after that. And then kindergarten followed up in early October. Tentatively right now, we're looking at diagnostic number 2 taking place about early February of 2021. And then we'll look at administration 3 closer towards the end of the year, around June of 2021.
Okay. So sort of a beginning of the year, a mid-year, and an end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then what, as far as parents are concerned, is there something they should be doing to prep their kid for this big diagnostic, or what,
So
like, what is that if they're home, and what is that going to look like from home? Is there anything they should do to prepare the house and the kid?
So first and foremost, we want both students and parents to understand that the purpose of this is to help personalize online learning paths for your students. It's very important that we ensure that our parents and our students know that they're going to see questions, maybe up to about half of the questions, that they may not know the answer to. And that's okay, because that's one of the things that makes this different. So again, it's important that our parents know that these assessments are coming up, that they understand that these are used to help guide learning, and specifically the learning path that the computer creates for them. But this truly should be a low stress environment. In normal circumstances, the iReady assessment would be given at school. So clearly in fall 2020, everyone across the nation, um, you know, many people across the nation took the iReady assessment at home. So parents may need to just help provide that supportive environment, make sure that they know that this is their students' assessment to take, that it's not for our parents to take. We really want our parents to play hands off. We always want our parents to help prepare their students by just encouraging them to get a good night's sleep, eating a good breakfast, encouraging them to always do their best, and don't rush through it. But most importantly, again, parents need to know this isn't their assessment to take. It really is for the students to show us what you know, okay? Letting them know there's going to be questions that you don't know, and that's okay. They can certainly use paper and pencil. They can take notes. And then just be mindful of the directions that the teachers give, because we're breaking it up into smaller chunks, understanding the developmental needs and how they're different from kindergarteners through 8th graders.
Right, huge difference. And I'm sure the teachers will be reminding the students too about I can't imagine that they wouldn't, that there is not this expectation that you know every answer, because it's
Yes,
just
and the
way it
teachers play a huge role in this, right? That it is not for a grade. Our teachers really did a great job this fall of monitoring the students. So it was actually done during a class period where our students could still be face-to-face with the teacher and know that there was support. This was something that, again, we wanted to structure it so that students and parents felt supported during this time, and the teachers were there to help students if they got stuck, whether it was with the technology or with a question, but also to be those students' biggest cheerleader, that you can do this, we just want you to give it your best try.
Right, just trying something new. So speaking, I'm going to sort of go back to that personalized, because I can imagine that some of the kids, it makes me think of, and I forget what it was called, but years ago, I'm showing my age, but I used to have this little owl, and you could try all your multiplication tables, and I love that thing. So it's making me think of that, I'm not going to say how many years forward, but so this personalized path, do they use it a certain amount of time? Is the teacher knowing what they're doing with this? Because I can imagine that some people would be like I was, and they'd be a little obsessed with it, and other kids will, what am I doing with this? So how does all that work?
So ideally, Shelley, maybe 10 years from now, maybe that's how far you're removed from this owl, right? We want our students to have those fond memories about this personalized path engaged instruction, like you just shared about that owl. There are individualized dashboards for each child, again, showing my path. When students log in through ClassLink, they open up to their dashboard and they can pick from their either math or reading lessons to complete each day. The dashboard gives them choices, shows them their progress, and we're asking that students actually engage in 10 to 15 minutes of iReady personalized instruction every day. It is gamified, right? So we know that our children today are very driven by interaction, building, building avatars and
Minecraft.
fun games and things like that. And that's the platform that iReady personalized instruction is built on. They do a couple lessons, they see some rewards, they earn some rewards so they can change backgrounds. And there's also some built-in learning games as well. So teachers can monitor that also. Where the My Path, when students open it up, both students and parents can see right there on that front page their progress. We want our parents and our students to give themselves a pat on the back, seeing their progress, the lessons that they have completed, how they've been moving along, the time that they've spent. And our teachers can actually see this too. So it's important that our teachers can monitor the personalized instruction of individual students. Again, with an individualized program, it's important that our teachers, are able to break down and look at the individual path of students. As I stated earlier, our goal is for students to spend between 30 and 49 minutes in each content area per week. A teacher is monitoring that time on task, their lessons passed, the completed work that they have done, because that allows the teacher to look at instruction a little differently. We're utilizing academic flex time in our virtual schedules to meet with small groups, to do some reteaching or extension. And the iReady information, not only the diagnostic scores, but how students are moving along in their My Path, helps inform teachers of what students' needs are, either for reteaching or for extension.
That's nice. And so, and I'm always, as a family involvement specialist, thinking about how families can be involved. So moms and dads, is what you're saying, is they can go on there and they can look to see. So did Johnny actually go in that many times, or did he do it today at all? Or they can sort of to check up. So
Yep.
I love that part. Thank you, Amanda. So there's a video that does a really nice job of sort of encapsulating iReady for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at that.
iReady is an online assessment and instruction program for reading and mathematics that will help determine your students' needs, personalize their learning, and monitor progress throughout the school year. In this video, we will learn: what is iReady personalized instruction? What can I see on the student dashboard? How can I view my student's progress? And how do I support my student? iReady personalized instruction provides students with lessons based on their individual skill level and needs, so they can learn at a pace that is just right for them. These lessons are fun and interactive to keep your student engaged as they learn. Your student's dashboard may have a single choice of working on teacher-assigned lessons, or two choices of working on teacher-assigned lessons or My Path. Your student can pick math or reading lessons. On the bottom of the dashboard, your student will have different choices: To Do, My Progress, My Stuff, and for math, Learning Games. To Do. Click here to see your students' lessons and assignments. My Progress. You will see stats for your student here. We'll come back to this in just a minute. My Stuff. For grades K through 2, your student can pick buddies, background themes, and play games with coins earned. For grades 3 and up, My Stuff will include background themes and rewards options. Learning games. These are games to help your student improve his or her math skills. Your student can play learning games when he or she finishes lessons. Learning games are available for grades K through 8. On your student's dashboard, click on My Progress. Time on Task tells you how many minutes your student has spent on lessons this week. Lessons Passed tells you how many lessons your student has passed this school year. Lesson Streak tells you how many lessons your student has passed in a row. And Completed Work shows you your student's past work. Finally, how to support your student. Explain to your student how working on iReady will help them continue their learning while they're away from school, preparing them and their teachers for coming back to school, and help ensure that they are ready for their next grade level. Make a plan together with your student on how to spend their time at home and when they will work on their learning activities. Encourage your student to take each lesson and quiz question seriously. Track and discuss progress. Regularly review progress with your student using the My Progress page. Ask your student's teacher for guidance on how many minutes they should spend on lessons each week, as schools have discretion on what they assign. Celebrate your student's progress. Celebrating milestones such as passing a lesson or reaching a specific goal can help keep your student motivated. Follow your teacher's guidance. As you plan how your student will spend their learning time, your student's teacher is your best resource for ensuring there is a variety in the activities they work on beyond the time they spend on the online learning. For more family resources, please visit our Family Center at iReadyCentral.com/Family Center. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thanks for being a part of our iReady family.
Okay, so now that we have sort of this overarching idea, and that was a really good video. Let's get down to some of the nitty gritty technology. Um, so how do students access iReady, and what electronic devices can they use to get that access? How does that look?
So iReady is accessible on any desktop, iPad, laptop, or Chromebook. It
Great.
does not work on cell phones. So that is an important thing for us to keep in mind. Each student in AACPS should access iReady through the ClassLink page. When students log into ClassLink, either through aacps.org website or on their school issue Chromebook, the student should go ahead and click the iReady tile and then click Go. We utilize single sign-on in Anne Arundel County, so it's best for our students to access all of their learning materials through that ClassLink page.
And they're very familiar with that usually too, right?
Yes, and we should be using that. All of our students should be using that regularly. So again, a variety of different technological tools can be used, just not our cell phones.
Okay. And then in terms of, and I feel like you sort of touched on this, but I just want to make sure our families understand. So the use of iReady, how does that inform, I guess, what goes on in the classroom? How do those two things connect?
So the iReady personalized instruction is really designed to complement what is being taught in the classroom. It should not take the place of our teacher direct instruction, because we know our teachers are really good at what they do, and they are able to get to know students and their learning habits better than any computer would ever be able to do. But our teachers also use the information from the diagnostic to show where there may be needs for some review, where a teacher may be able to best provide support, or also tell them where a student may need some extension. The student does work on those online, the MyPath, the online piece, the lessons, and they are computer adaptive, so they are individualized to meet the areas of greatest need for your individual student. Again, the student's teacher can monitor the lessons that have been completed, offer help when the students need extra support or might get stuck. And with our continued loss of that in-person instruction and our limited face-to-face teaching time in the virtual world, students spending time on this personalized path is really important for them to keep moving along in the learning progression at their grade level and to close any of those gaps that may be there in their learning.
Awesome. So it's another nice tool for teachers to use. So I also would be remiss if we didn't talk about parents again. So what can parents do from your perspective, Amanda, to support this, to support the use of this tool and making it as best used as possible?
So a lot of our parents have asked us questions about how they might be able to support their students' learning at home. And first, I would always encourage our parents to talk with their students about why they're using iReady, a little bit more, maybe what they've learned here today, and how the use of the program will help them to be better prepared for their grade level classwork that they are given. Our parents can just be, again, encouragers, let our students know that what this is doing when you're working on this away from your teacher, it actually helps your teachers know what you're doing really well in or what you might need a little bit of help with. So our parents can, again, be a cheerleader, be a strong encourager, and ask our students to really, do their best. Take each lesson and each quiz seriously. We use the words think before you click or thinking before clicking, because this is an instructional program. So we don't want our students to just get in the habit of clicking through, because that doesn't give good feedback to our parents to show how their students are moving along, but certainly doesn't give an accurate report to our teachers either about what they know or are able to do. Mm-hmm. And then finally, something that we may not have hit on before is encouraging your student to use the tools that appear at the bottom of the screen in some lessons. When the dashboard opens up, I referred before to the MyPath and the My Progress, or the lessons at the bottom, where parents can go in to see how their students are moving along. In some of our lessons, some reading lessons, there may be a highlighter tool, or there may be a pointer. In mathematics, there may be a ruler, or there may be some other tools there that support students to solve the problems in those lessons. So we want to encourage them to look out for those tools. If those tools are there, encourage your students to use them. Finally, AACPS did send home backpacks with each one of our students at the beginning of the school year. So if you have not yet received a backpack from your school or been part of that distribution, I encourage our parents to email their teacher, give that school office a phone call, because inside that learning backpack, there's items such as a communicator, it's a sleeve with a whiteboard marker that students could use to solve math problems. There also may be tools such as counters or a writer's notebook, which may be helpful for students in reading comprehension to take some notes or write down some words that would help them answer the questions and monitor their own progress.
I'm so
And
glad you brought
finally,
that up.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's an
it's so
important
nice.
thing, that if we're not there yet, let's make sure that we get those backpacks out for
Mhm.
each and every one of our students. And last but certainly not least, we're encouragers, we're lovers on our kids, we want them to do their best. And so the sweet spot for us is between 30 and 49 minutes per week. And so 30 to 49 minutes per week in each content area of math and reading. iReady should be given in place of homework in grades kindergarten through grade 2. So that is what we're asking them to do for their homework to keep their learning progression along. 3rd to 5th grade, again, it may be supplemental, but we don't want students doing between 10 and 15 minutes more than that, again, additional on the screen in each content area. That research does show us that when students spend between 30 and 49 minutes per week on their MyPath, the personalized instruction, we're going to see great gains in combination with the great instruction that they're receiving from their teachers.
That's awesome to hear. Wow. So definitely an incentive.
So finally, Shelley, thank you so much again for having me here today. And I just want to remind our parents that on the aacps.org website, you can actually find an iReady page with much more information. There's a frequently asked questions document there, as well as some links out to iReadyCentral.com that has a great family engagement resource center that is geared directly towards our parents and has many, many materials in various languages, from Spanish to Tagalog and many, many others to reach all of our students.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this sounds like a remarkable product. I'm so happy to hear about it and to share this with the audience. And thank you, Amanda. I can't thank you enough. And thank you for joining us for another edition of Parents Corner. See you next time.